good morning.
Good
Good
morning.
morning,
How are you
Roman.
doing?
I'm doing great. And you?
I'm good. How is our co-host doing?
Our co host, Kathy, is a very disciplined person, and she is going and feeling better and better and better and better by the day. So I spoke with her yesterday, the day before yesterday, and I spoke with her about almost every day except yesterday. I was not able to talk to her because I was stuck in some activity in production, and that's prevent me from talking to her directly. I have some text with her. She's in good shape. She visit the doctor. The doctor say, "Yeah, thumbs up." Where's my thumb? This way, this way. Yep. Love you, Kathy, and be well and be with us very, very soon. And she really need our support. And we'll put the link for the GoFundMe, and here it is. And every penny count. So don't be shy. Go for it. And today, Roman, we have a topic that you suggest, by the way, of home for the dog. We
Hmm.
take that as a general topic, and we'll explore different variation of what mean a home for a dog.
I think that's a great topic. Oh wait, I did come up with the idea. I don't think so. I didn't. You did. But I'll take that challenge. Um, so first of all, let's clarify things.
Yes.
I like the German term where people call dogs house dogs and not pets.
Uh huh.
And the reason why I'm starting from there is because when we create a home for a dog, we have to come in and understand the dog's needs in a house. So dogs are natural beings, right? They hang around, they live in nature, they chase nature, they're very loving beings in general. They're not killing for food unless they're starving, not like us. And what other things that we have to pay attention to is they have these natural needs. They have needs of exercise, they have needs of a safe place, they have a needs of being, under cover, they have needs of fresh water, they have needs of food. So if we put the dog in a house that we call house, and we dedicate a space for that dog, we want to make sure that all these needs are met. So I know many people, unfortunately, who are definitely thinking, oh, I get a dog. Well, where do we put the dog? Well, we need a kennel. Let's get a dog kennel. Dog comes in the house, kennel door opens, dog goes in, dog closes, and we are up to work. And then
No.
we come back home, the kennel is gone, the door is down, the furniture is chewed, and the whole disaster comes in the house, and people says, I hate this dog. He's not house friendly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So my point here is that we need to become aware that dogs are free moving beings. They need freedom. And so, what is freedom for a dog in a house? Freedom of a dog in a house for him to be able to move and has his needs met. Needs for food, needs for safety, needs for water, needs for comfort, need to relax, need to socialize. All these things have to be in this mini world that we call
Mm-hmm.
house.
Okay.
In Italy, for example, is very strict of how big or how small that house can be. Let's call it how small that house can be. So there are certain restrictions. For example, for a dog, there should be 3 square meters. 3 square meters is I am
27
2 meters
square
high,
feet. Yeah.
sort of like. What's he doing, buddy? I have a foster here, so I have to check in with him once in a while. And we have to make sure that there is enough room space for that dog to be free to move around, be
Mm-hmm.
free to eliminate, be free to have some water. So we have to all to accommodate to this environment. And we have to be very careful how we set that up. We have to make sure there is a clean space for the dog to stay. and there should be an area to eliminate, and there should be water and a food area, and they have to have a specific distance. You cannot have poop place, pee place, water place, food place, and a sleeping place all in one little area. There should be distance in between clean and not clean, between comfort and not comfort, right? And then the other thing we need to pay attention to is that dogs need exercise and they need enrichment. They cannot just be in a crate all day long. I would say I'm not a supporter of crates, but I do understand that some dogs coming from a shelter environment have the need to decompress in an area that feels safe, and especially dogs who have been longer in shelters, they are not comfortable being with so much freedom and so much responsibility to be in the house,
Well,
where they get overwhelmed.
What do you define as a crate?
Well, as a crate is a containment that has a top, a side, all the sides are closed, and the dog cannot get out of there.
So, a dog house, sometimes you see somebody building a mini house,
Right?
about, I would say, 2 feet wide, 3 feet long, 2.5 feet tall, with an opening. No, is that what you call? Is that what you call? Is
Well, that's
it?
a crate.
Is it not?
That's a crate. It's a confinement, but the confinement has a specific specs.
Can
So
you share that with us?
in US, we recommend, but there is no law, how big that crate can be. We say the dog should have at least 4 inches above his head, and the
Standing up.
length,
When it's standing up.
right? Sitting. Standing
Sitting.
dogs are shorter, sitting are taller because they're kind of a little bit more upright. The head's a little bit more stretched. So when the
Okay.
dog sits, he should have more space on his head than 4 inches, my perspective. The dog should be able to make a complete U-turn without touching any walls, without have to bend himself to get around the corner. So I would say a small dog should have about, I'm metric.
Okay, go for matrix.
Okay,
I'm
get the
educated too.
a small dog should have 1.5 meter
Okay.
space, 1.5
About 5
meter by
feet.
1.5 meter.
Yeah.
A bigger dog should have 1.8 meters, almost 2
About
meters,
6 feet. Yeah.
right? And then a large dog should have at least, let's call it 2.5 meters,
7 feet.
right? Inside. So I would
I'm
say,
translating from
a
matrix
crate-
to American.
let's say if we take a crate, bottom line, a space for a dog would be a 4x8
hmm
floor layout.
Okay. And
Okay.
what size of dog are we talking right now?
We talk about the big dog.
The big dog,
Yeah, that's the
Doberman.
minimum. We
German
talk about
Shepherd.
the minimum, right? In countries like Sweden or Finland, you're not allowed to have a crate at all. No crate. You are
Okay.
punishable by law if you have a dog in a crate.
Mhm.
In
Okay.
Italy there are restrictions too. I don't remember exactly the restrictions, but I know the restrictions in Italy. But I will do my research on that. I'm gonna share a list of which countries have restrictions. So in US, most of us will be illegal because the first thing we do, you get a dog, you have to crate train him. Okay, so why is that? Well, the dog was in the crate at the kennel. The dog was in the crate at the vet's office. The dog was in the crate at the groomer. The whole dog system in US is based on a crate, on confining a dog so he doesn't do any damage,
Yeah.
which is interesting that the whole concept is based on the crate. If you get a puppy, you have to crate train a puppy. So you teach the puppy to not pee and poop in a crate by limiting his place so small that he cannot even move to go potty. But in general, that's not the reality. If you teach the puppy from day one that outside is where you do, and do it multiple times a day, usually twice a day,
Mhm.
then that the puppy learns that out there is where we do things.
Okay.
So you don't need that crate.
Okay. Topic right
Topic.
there. You just bring the poop subject. How do you train a dog? How do you train a dog to learn where to poo?
Well, it's funny that you said because somebody posted a video today and I was watching it. You know, dogs do imitate. Okay,
They are like human. Okay.
right? They imitate. So, as somebody suggested, well, since dogs imitate, we should show them how to poop in the yard so they can do. Okay, so you don't need to show a dog how to poop because this is natural thing to happen. It's gonna poop.
Right.
The key is to be there in time and place at the right place and show the difference that pooping in that area is appreciated if you offer only that area for the dog to poop. So when I do potty train my dogs, I have a dedicated area in my yard that's fenced in with a little fence area dedicated. Okay.
Mhm.
I'm gonna share a picture at some point. There's also a poop area there. It's poop area. And so the dogs go in there and I stay there, joining them, watching them until they do their business. And then once they do their business, party time. We do have a treat, we have walks, we have all these good things happening. Plus, we can eliminate also doing the walk. Why? Because of course we have to pee over the other one's pee, who peed over the other one's pee, but everybody pees on top of the pees, right?
Right.
And so that is totally okay because that's how dogs communicate. And poop is our communication too. Through peeing and pooping elimination, we set up boundaries and limits in the area.
Okay.
So this is one thing that I always do.
Okay.
The other thing that we
Just
need to
yeah, I love all of everything you're saying. Just for clarification, you have a little bit fence space. Is there a gate to it, or is that always open?
I have a gate to it for
Okay.
now, especially if I work with rescues. We don't want them to, jump out or go out of there. But if I don't have a rescue dog, it's a regular dog, boarding, for example, then we just run to that area. We wake up in the morning and we run there to go to the potty. And then we hang out there until it happens. We take our time. Leave the dog his peace. You don't, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Are you pooping? Are you pooping? Let the dog time. Give it cool.
Yeah,
And once that happens, and then you don't make a big fuss out of it. You don't scare your dog because you're kind of like a clown. Ah, my pup pooped, right? You just offer him a treat and says, "This appreciate that. I like that. Let's go for a walk now."
Mhm.
And then you do this other exercise that you want to do with your dog: playtime, interactions. My schedule is: we wake up in the morning, we go outside potty. As soon as the dog wakes up, we go out potty, and then we have all the time in the world to make breakfast, right? To eat, to snack, to do these things. And then with young puppies, 10 minutes after drinking water, we have to go outside again. Because outside is where we do the things that we eliminate. The
Mhm.
territory is outside, not inside.
Okay,
So
so
we have
another interesting point, because I don't have a dog. I don't know practically nothing about owning a dog, and you just come to another point where the space, the location of the food is inside the house.
Mhm.
The location for make deposit, it's outside the house,
Right?
and it's a two separate space for the dog.
Right. A clean space and a non-clean space.
Okay.
Now, when we bring the dog in the house the first time, the first thing I do is I do a round through the dog and give him a go and no-go areas. I don't introduce him a room that he does not go. I will stay in one living room area and the kitchen, and that's basically that's it. Not bedrooms yet, and not bathrooms yet. Nothing. Okay. No upstairs, no downstairs. Just that safe area my dog can be around, and I can set up baby gates.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that doesn't have a carpet is my safe place for now, temporary in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And there are foldable gates, and there are door with gates, and there are door with gates that have cat doors in it, so cats can go in and out safely without have to jump over a fence. And that gated area is my temporary little living space for my dog, where he can be with me. He can join me, but it doesn't have to be up my grill all the time.
Mm-hmm.
There's a place for him to run. Kitchen are perfectly for that because there's nothing he can do. Usually kitchen are kind of waterproof at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And even if he has an accident, I'm not making a big fuss of it. I'm just remembering what time it happened and why did I miss that timeline.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not making big fuss of it. So if a dog makes a mistake, no problem, because young dogs don't even have regulatory system yet because their nerves are not so educated in the gallbladder to tell him, hey, soon enough we're having a pressure raise, and soon enough we need to go to the bathroom. As soon as a little bit of a pain comes up in the bladder, the dog's like, yeah, I'll feel so good, eliminating it.
Okay, one more point. Right now, you just pointed out that a puppy is more irregular, more quote unquote spontaneous in his deposit, and with time, it can become like a time-related habit. Is that what you're saying?
Right. But as the nervous system develops, also the gallbladder develops. The bladder develops. So the dog will learn more and more of those things.
Mm-hmm.
That if that happens, outside is how it feels better than inside.
Mm-hmm. Okay, you train your dog to go outside.
Yeah.
You're inside, but he has an urge. Is a dog will express the need, or you just dispose
Well,
of his urge?
I wouldn't say I wait the dog to tell me the needs, because I'm the parent. I need the dog to be proactively.
Okay.
Like, I know everything. I know when you need to go to the bathroom. I know when you're hungry before you actually are hungry. Everything is provided for. Don't need to worry about things.
Mm-hmm.
Right? What's up, buddy? What are you doing?
So
We
you
have
have a
Christmas puppies. Here.
you have a guest behind your curtain.
Right. Hey, buddy.
This is Life with a Dog. The co-host of the show left the stage. It's okay.
Here we go.
I'm here. Oh, he's back. Welcome back. So you took care of dog business. So
Well,
mine is
I got
yeah.
a rescue dog from a humane society, and he's a long-term shelter dog. He's been a year in shelter, and before that, very questionable situations. His upbringing, and so we have to start from completely scratch to have him house-proof.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
So
you were
his kennel area is right now 5 by 8.
okay. And what size of dog is that?
He's a medium small dog, like
Medium, 60 pound?
no, 47.8 to be exactly.
47.8 pound. Okay.
We wait every
we
morning,
know the spec now.
right?
Excellent.
He's soft-coated Wheaten Terrier.
Okay. That's very good. So you were because before you was interrupted, you were talking about the area of the house where there's no carpet, area of the house that you limit to the kitchen, living room, dining room,
Right.
and an area where the dog can identify himself as this is my spot.
Mhm.
And you fence the doors. Is that
Right.
my understanding? So
Yep.
you use the fence for a baby or a
Yeah,
toddler?
the baby gate, like it's
Baby
tall
gate.
enough for the dog to jump
Mhm.
over it.
Yes. And you start with a dog, which is a puppy.
Right.
Okay. So you have that set up.
Mhm.
What's the next phase after that?
Well, the next phase is, of course, the dog to have proper nutrients and proper food. How many
Yes.
times do I have to feed him? So
Mhm.
puppies start with 4 times, and then later on, when they're 4 months old, we're gonna slow down to 3 times, and they'll be over 6. We're gonna slow down to 2 times a day. However, I prefer a little more small meals than one big meal, and I don't prefer free feeding because dogs don't have regulatory system how much food they can eat, so they can overfeed. And when they overfeed, then they have diarrhea and they get bloat, and you don't want to go down that road.
So explain a little bit more what you mean by that, because I'm not familiar with the term you just use. You
Which one?
feed the
Feed.
feed, the
Well,
feeding part.
and you start with many times little small meals
Okay.
a day, or 4 times meals a day with a young
Okay,
puppy.
let's break it down. You start with 4 meal a day, quote unquote, and
Right?
you decide the quantity. Is that what you mean?
Well, yeah, the quantity depends on the dog's breed
Yes, of
and
course.
the dog's size,
Of
and
course.
of course it depends on what the nutrient intake and content is,
Yeah.
how much energy that food has, and how the energy source is. There are more dense foods and less dense foods. The
Mhm.
cheaper you get, the less density they have, the more you have to feed, and the
Yeah.
more food density you have, the more nutrient density
Concentrate.
has, the more digestibility you have, the more nutrients that are available, and the
Okay.
less food needs the dog to reach that amount. And there are dogs who need a little bit more energy, and the dogs who need less energy when they're growing up, and then you have growth spurts and then not so growth spurts. So you have always to adjust, and you have always to take weight measurements and make sure you're kind of in a consistent
Curve.
direction.
Okay. So you decide the amount. You have a specific dog. You know this dog will take 1 cup of food
Hmm.
for 4 meals a day.
Right. Well,
As
usually
a
the manufacturer will offer a daily value, so
right.
how many cups a day the dog should, and then you divide that with any times you have to feed the dog.
Okay. So based on nutrition value, you will have a ratio per day. It will
Right.
say for a 25-pound dog, it would be like a cup and a half, and for a 50-pound dog, it would be 2 cup and a quarter, something like
Well,
that.
you can calculate for a 100-pound dog. You need an average, market average between 4 and 6 cups a day,
Okay.
and a higher quality brand with high nutrient density, you may eventually need 3.5 cups a day.
Okay. So you start by having 4 meals a day, and you decide you take your daily ration or daily quantity, and you split in four. First
Right.
meal, a quarter of it. Second meal, a quarter of it.
Right.
A third meal, a
Plus, I
quarter
have
of
to
it.
calculate how many treats I will give my dog throughout the day, which also calculates
Ah,
that too.
so treat is also part of the diet.
Well, everything that comes into my
Nutrition.
dog's mouth, including my shoes and my and the books, they have to be calculated as well. But of course, we have to be safe with the dog. However, whatever we give the dog intake, we need to pay attention. So even the
Okay.
treats, we have to make sure what the ingredients are, and we don't want to feed crap food, and we don't need to overfeed your dog. We know people who are so need to feed the dog so many treats and snacks and treats, and they eat a lot of junk food. And
Right.
if you don't know the ingredients, you're going to end up in a problem pretty soon.
You throw your dog
Allergies,
out of balance.
yeah,
Out of diet.
allergies,
Yeah.
overweight,
Digestion problem,
right?
so on and so
Plus,
forth.
we have to calculate also what the dog gets snack from our scraps, like
Hmm.
leftovers from food and breakfast and lunch and dinner, and a little bit of my sandwich, a little bit of my carrots, a little bit of my potato chips. All this adds up.
Hmm. It's okay. That's make a lot of sense at this level. So we need to do that. So phase one, you have puppy 4 meals a day. You said after what 6 months you go and adjust the diet.
Well, the first round will be 4 months, and then
Okay.
6 months, and then you lower it down to two, maybe 2.5, maybe three max
Meal.
meals a day.
Okay. And the choice would be in the morning, in the evening, or midday,
Usually,
evening.
I like to prefer the dogs to eat in the morning, like very early in the morning when sun rises, and
Mm-hmm.
latest meal is before the sun sets.
Ah.
We,
Okay.
we kind of want to imitate the natural clock of the dog. Who I'm
Okay.
waking up, I'm going, to snack, and then in the evening, more dogs are more prey driven as predators, which is more likely to get a bigger snack.
Mm-hmm.
And then we rest. But I need enough time for the dog digestive system to calm down before I put him to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, not to put him asleep, to put him to bed, to make it
Right.
very
Right.
quick.
Right.
And then we want to make sure that the dog has even chance to eliminate before he sleeps over through the night.
Okay. So a potty right before you go to bed.
Yeah, I usually go to bed around 10, so I
Mm-hmm.
give him a quick potty around 10, and then it's night time.
Okay.
Lights off, and once the lights are off, there is nothing happening.
Okay. The dog is quiet.
Right?
It's
Usually
resting.
puppies were very young. They can only held about, let's say, 1 hour per month. So if the puppy is 3 months, he can stay easily 3 hours without needs of any going potty place. And
Oh.
then it increases over time. So these are
Okay.
expectations. The dog doesn't have to. This is
Okay.
what he can handle
Okay.
naturally without causing any health issues. I know dogs who are very clean and they will not eliminate only certain places.
Mm-hmm.
I worked with a dog in the past who basically only eliminated in a specific area, and then he went to boarding, and the dog wouldn't poop and pee for a couple of days, and they basically were forced to bring the dog back to his original house to eliminate there. But
Interesting.
yeah, dogs are very habitual animals. They have habits. And on one side, it's a good thing. On the other one, is not a good thing. So we need to teach the dog also flexibility.
Hmm.
And not only just one thing forever. It's really boring.
Yes. Okay. Now, human side of the equation. You have a dog in the family. You introduce the dog into the family. What's the do and don't?
Well, the first thing we have to recognize that if we bring a dog in a family, like we have an existing family and there's an existing pet, and we bring a dog into that home,
Hmm.
then we have to deal with two different species systems. We have the dog system and we have the human system. Each system is different. The different needs, the different social needs, different physical needs, and different food needs. And so we have to adjust to that. And we cannot just make a conclusion because my dog is fine with dogs in the yard or in a play date that my dog will be fine having a new dog coming in my house. In other words, my wife is totally fine when we go out on vacation and meet people, but if I bring people in our house she doesn't know,
Hmm.
that's weird. What do we do with those people?
Hmm.
Honey, don't worry about it. They're gonna sleep in our bed. And she's like, nope, it's not gonna happen. It's my bed. Nobody goes my bed. So we
Okay.
see the simple things like that. If we bring a new dog in, the existing dog, the let's call it the resident dog, needs to understand what's happening here. He doesn't need to lose his house. He doesn't need to see the dog as a threat. So
Hmm.
there need to be introduction happening. These dogs need to like each other, need to tolerate each other. And at
Hmm.
some point, they need to have the same language. They need to speak the same language. They need to understand the same language. Then they have to have proper social behaviors. We cannot have a very unruly dog coming in the house with a very rule oriented dog. That would
Hmm.
be a disaster soon to happen because the dog wants that peace and quiet to happen. And if you don't address that, then the dog will, and that usually ends up in dog fights.
Okay. But between humans and dog, how you
Well,
introduce
um,
human to dogs and dogs to human?
the proper way to do it is to introduce the dog to the humans, not the
Hmm.
humans to the dog. And in order to do so, we have to have set some social rules first in place. The dog should know how to approach and what to expect in that introduction. So the dog expects for you to show your butt so he can smell it. And the dog expects for you to smell his butt because he's a social dog, but he only knows about dogs. He doesn't know about people. So we
Hmm.
see just from that natural gesture of a dog of social interaction, those social messages, the dog will not understand what a human will do. Why doesn't he smell me? Why doesn't he give me permission to smell him? Why doesn't he respond to my messages?
Hmm.
And that's what we talked socialization. So if a dog is not socialized, he will struggle meeting people. So we need to address that first before we actually go down the road. And then we
Okay.
have other issues. We have dogs who live in other households. And for example, families merging, like a woman and another man, or, sorry, I don't want to be sexist here, two partners moving together and each partner has a dog.
Right.
These are completely different systems because one system will move into an existing system or both systems move into a new home where everybody's in a new place. And this
Hmm.
can cause a lot of disturbances because there's no safe place set. There are no rules set. There's no family code of conduct set. There are new rules, new people in the house. I have to share my bowl, my water, my place, my bed, my partner, and these are very challenging times. So
Hmm.
just because dogs do fine in the yard together playing because we are going out on a date doesn't mean we're good moving in the same house
Okay.
without doing proper preparation.
If you do so, decide the two spouses or the two to be spouses decide to move in with their respective dog, do you need to establish a territory for each one?
Yeah, I would say every dog should have a safe place. And I need to kind of give a heads up because many people says, well, dogs have to establish the dominance. No. Okay, they don't establish the dominance.
Hmm.
They try to understand the relationships in that house. Who does what, why, for what reason, what's each one's job description, what are my specialties, how can a dog contribute to his family? That's his primary needs. He needs to
Hmm.
contribute to his family to secure his family um, system.
Right.
And so dogs will need to bond with one person as a secure attachment.
Hmm.
And it's no offense if a dog does it with one person or the other, just like with children. Only one secure attachment per child.
Yes.
However, we can have different types of relationships.
Yeah.
Once the secure attachment leaves, then the dog will attach to another person, not as secure as he is with his own parent or with his own
Interesting.
partner.
Interesting. I met a friend the day before yesterday at the supermarket, and he introduced me somebody, and he said, "Well, I'm kind of the grand uncle in the family there, and their dog now they their dog loved me, and the dog come to me, and he's not going to the previous owner, the formal owner of the dog, and he's coming only to me." And that's a normal behavior you can expect, or is that an exception?
Well, knowing a little bit of your hobbies and knowing what a good cook you are, and you have actually your own YouTube channel cooking, I assume that a dog saw your channel and he knows exactly what you're cooking and he wants to be with you. No offense, man. You have to tell those people what's your advantage.
Well, this story did not involve me. It involved a friend of mine that I know for 40 years.
Okay.
That is kind of getting into an extended family himself, and since he's of the age of being a grand uncle, which he is, and he happened that since he is living with his extended family, people, the dog of the family, go to him just as the first point of contact. So that was the anecdote that he shared with me yesterday. And since you're talking about merging family, now you were talking with the assumption it's a couple with each a dog. But if you have a couple with each children, two spouses coming together with their own family, so the integration of the family there will be interesting to the least.
Yeah, and I recommend don't let it be kind of like, let's see how that goes. If that starts the wrong way, it's very hard to address. So I would say if you guys merge families, I mean, I'm available to do a video consultation and talk you guys through it by doing an individual assessment of each individual dog, and then get a better understanding how the family is set, what people do, what people's expectations are, because they're two different people to have two different expectations. And there's always a friction between, it wasn't my dog, it was your dog who started it. And I've seen families falling apart because of that. So I wouldn't take that risk and just figuring it out as we go. I need to be prepared to do that. So if you know that you're gonna want to merge and you guys looking already for options and opportunities and kind of thinking about what furniture we need, you should start already working on your dog's social skills and how to integrate them and put a treatment plan in place. So we meant to make sure that transition time is without any issues. Once the issues start, it's hard to undo. So I'm not saying it's not impossible, but better starting a nice way and have everybody settle in than make it the wrong way.
Okay, Kathy has this question there in line with our conversation. Is it possible to housebreak an older dog?
Yes, but first of all, if the dog comes already in and has already issues, I would definitely eliminate the medical conditions first. Elder dogs have sometimes gallbladder issues, they have UTI, they have infections, they have underlying reactivity to grains and to carbs. Too many carbs can cause you to go more often to bathroom than no carbs or less carbs. And dogs are low carbs eaters. Unfortunately, the food industry pushes us the high carb diets. So I would definitely start with a vet check, making sure the dog has no medical issues. And then sometimes the dog has hard time adjusting himself into the new home with his new routines. And he's like, I used to be every 4 hours. Now I don't know what's going on here. I'm too old for this.
Old
So we
dog.
make sure that we keep the old schedule of the old dog that moves in your house. Or if we adopt an old dog that it doesn't have a schedule at all, you basically start with puppy training, basically.
So we can train an old dog new trick.
Yeah, I don't know who came up with that slogan, but yeah, you can train any dog at any time. And a dog is not old until he's
Mhm.
not breathing.
Sorry
Right?
for what you just said. Like, okay, he's not old until he cannot breathe. Is that what you just said?
Yeah. I mean, people kind of treat dogs differently because they get older. On a dog's perspective, he doesn't understand his age. He just has certain limitations.
Hmm.
So if you feed your dog healthy and you make sure he's not in pain, your dog is just active as young and pup. I mean, I have a
Yeah.
17-year-old dog. He was running out like crazy. Where he was blind and deaf. He couldn't find things, but otherwise he was just fine like any other dog, right? With some limitations. And I had another dog who was very old. Well, he struggled a little bit in the morning to warm up, but once he warmed up, he was just all over the place.
Yeah.
So I don't see um, we should do adjustments. So you're not taking your dog out for a 5-mile hike on the mountains. You want to adjust accordingly to his body needs.
Hmm.
But just because the dog is a senior doesn't mean you have to treat him like an institutional case.
Right. Okay. Don't try. Basically, you don't treat him like we treat elder
Right.
human.
Oh,
We,
mom, you're too old. You have to go in a closing house facility.
right.
I'm
Yes.
like, I hate there. I'm like, no,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
have to go there.
Yeah. Because we don't care for you. That's
Right, right.
basically it.
Well,
Sad myth,
we
but
don't
true.
we don't know each people's problems, but yeah,
Right.
sometimes it's the case.
I have a side question related to treat. So
Okay.
it's not really, we talk about food right now, treat. And my question I have in mind for 2 or 3 years is there a point where you stop rewarding the dog with food?
Good question. I had this conversation with a colleague of mine who told me, "Why are you not giving your dog treats? Are you an aversive trainer? You don't positive reinforce your dog?" I said, "You know what? Um, if we go with scientific evidence, 50% of dogs may like affection, 50% of dogs may like food. Some of those 50% also like either or, depending on their mood. Sometimes they like food, sometimes they like affection. Anyway, either way, affection and food are the same value if it comes down to the dog that he likes it. If the dog has something in his mind, that is the reward,
Hmm.
right? If the dog wants to jump on you and he jumps on you, that's the reward, he making contact with you. If the
Okay.
dog wants to go out the door, me opening the door is the reward,
Okay.
right? If the dog
That's,
wants to go for a walk, that walk is the reward. Now I can add bonuses to it, affection and
mhm.
appreciation and facial expression. As long as I pair it with that, is going to lead you to that and
Okay.
make that connection.
Now you're always saying things which um, are very positive, very helpful, and I would say outside of the conventional box of thinking, quote unquote. And this is what make you and your expertise unique by your approach, your view, and I would almost call that like a humanitarian view of dog. And so um, what you just said about rewarding is much broader than he's a piece of candy or he's a
Well,
piece of
the ultimate reward of a
tread
dog is his relationship, his
with
secure
you.
attachment relationship.
Yeah.
What is your reward? Would you be with a person without getting money? Would you be with a person that you love without getting paid? Will you be with a person that you love without having food? Would you die with a person?
Hmm.
Right? And so we have to see that as a primary need of a dog to be in a relationship. In a relationship, the dog recognizes who he is. So for
Yeah.
his, let's call it emotional development and spiritual development, he needs to relate himself. with something, and that something should be something that is evolved or more evolved than himself.
Okay, that's fantastic. This
That's
this
also
is like,
spiritual here.
yeah, this is like above. That's why I'm doing the show. Basically, that's why I'm here. That's why what you said there explode the dimension of the relationship between human and dog, and bring it to a brand new level that I never heard before, or no, I never heard that before. And Kathy is not with us today. Can you come on the studio, Kathy, since you're watching? That would be nice. Just for a say hello, and then we close the show with you. Can you? Hello. She said, "Hey." Okay. Hey. Are you Canadian? Hey. Well, we're waiting for Kathy. I have a Canadian joke. How do you spell Canada?
Don't get me started.
There's a C, A. There's a N, A. There's a D, A. Okay, that was my Canadian joke for today. So, are you coming? Hang on. Okay, this is a message. Hang on. She's coming. She's putting her wig and she's putting her glasses. Kathy, we love you. This is all possible because of you. Hey, she's coming. Wait, I'm hiding. Audience, you are there. Be patient. Kathy's coming on stage. Give her like another 2 minutes. Drum.
Drum. Is the drum thing?
Hang on, she said. Hang on. We're holding on. Meanwhile, I'll use my little
See
brand.
what she does? She uses a treat.
Uh-huh.
Her being on the show is the treat, and we're buying it, and now we are obedient, waiting for her to
Yes.
come in.
Right.
That's how she does it. She knows exactly our weakness.
Uh-huh. So, just a reminder, there's for Kathy, there's a GoFundMe link. You see it on the screen there. And she's an influencer. She reached 14 million people at some point. And thousands of dogs have been saved because she promoted a non-kill shelter. And as a matter of fact, dogs have been saved because of her influence. We're waiting for Kathy. She's coming. And just before closing the show,
I'm having separation anxiety right now.
woof, 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 woof. Okay, while we're waiting, I have a side question about what you discussed in the reward aspect. Is there any expression of the dog saying, "Give me a treat," or "Give me affection,"
Yeah.
or "Take me
Um,
out"?
the dog doesn't make a distinction in such a detail. Your dog will express "I want," and usually that is expressed with patience,
Mm-hmm.
or scratching, or nudging, or pushing, or whining. So we have to actually start learning our dog's individual language and
Mm-hmm.
words.
Mm-hmm.
Dogs don't come programmed with, with a list of words that he has to
Right.
learn. So dogs will show and do things that works best for them. So he sees you every time he comes up, he gets a treat. Well, he will come up because he wants a treat.
Mm-hmm. Here
And
she is.
almost there.
I-
Is she crying
I-
or laughing?
she's smiling.
Oh my,
Look at Jack. Yeah,
There
they're
she
like
is.
smileys.
gosh. I can't believe that you asked me to come on.
Yeah, I asked you to come out.
Oh,
Came out of your
He lured
cage.
you. He
Great.
used the treat.
oh, geez. Yeah. Hi,
How you
everybody.
doing, Kathy? I know you're on your cell phone. Just to say hello to us.
Say hello.
Don't make me lie. I told everybody that you were feeling much better, and then you coughing.
Yeah, well, I guess much better. Who knows? Hey, Roman, That was great information. What a totally new perspective on training and association and relationships. Very proud, guys. I guess you don't need me anymore. Boo hoo, boo hoo.
Oh, you, Kathy.
Yeah.
Where are you saying these things?
Uh,
Of course, we need you. Hey,
Muka.
Mohammed, how you doing?
Yeah,
Say hello to Mohammed, Kathy, please.
I did. I just said hi, Muka.
Oh, hi, Muka. Okay.
Yeah.
You have your personal relationship, your
Yes.
lovely word.
Yeah.
Very good. So, Kathy, we were very happy to have you on the show.
Well, thank
It was very nice to have you. Be well.
I will.
Everybody should. We love you, no doubt about it.
Oh,
And take care of you. We need you to be on the show very, very soon on a permanent basis, so we can all retire.
yes. There you go.
No intent to do that. And thank you so much, Roman. Thank you for the scope of your view on the topic of human-dog relationship, and that's helpful to human also. Thank you so much. I think we'll close the show on this topic, and we'll see everybody next time. Thank you for coming, Kathy. We love you. Everybody love you, and we're happy to see you with a big smile.
Okay. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye. Wrong one. No, hold on a second. Where's the? No, that's the closing one, right?